call this special board meeting to order at 5:59. And have everybody stand and we'll say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all. Miss Tammy, could you do a voice roll call, please?
Trustee Bass?
Here.
Trustee Bosker?
Here.
Trustee Byler?
Here.
Trustee Manning?
Here.
Trustee Mercer?
Here.
Board Chair Miskowitz?
Here.
Vice Chair Oldenburg?
Here.
Trustee Ramsey?
Thank you.
Thank
I wanted to
you.
say sustained, but that was.
Yes.
At this time, public comments. We do not have any public, so. Moving on to new business. An action item, can I please get a motion to discuss and possible action item regarding entering a contract negotiations with the superintendent, Mr. Joel Ramsey?
Motion to enter contract negotiations with Ms. Superintendent Ramsey.
Can I get a second?
A second.
Mr. Ramsey?
Okay. So as part of this contract, I'm proposing a realignment of duties to a .5 superintendent and a .5 FTE K-12 principal role. I would be stepping away from the classroom.
So you want, can you slow that again down? Point what?
.5 superintendent
Okay.
and .5 K-12 principal, stepping away from the classroom. I feel that this reflects the administrative needs of the district and allows us to post a full-time science position. I'm asking the contract would begin at the same total salary I'm at now, is $95,000. So this would be a workload realignment, not a salary increase to begin. And then I'm requesting 3 contract provisions. First, I am requesting a 3-year contract to support leadership stability and long-term planning for the district. Second, a limited payout of up to 5 accrued vacation leave days. A contract is a 260-day contract, meaning every weekday is a work day. There's no built-in weekdays off other than established holidays. So vacation leave is it's very difficult to use in practice. So that request would be capped, predictable, and reconciled annually.
So you would cap it at 5 vacation days?
I would, a payout of up to 5 vacation days annually, the accrued vacation time. And third, I'm requesting salary adjustments tied directly to my completion of Montana administrative certifications. Specifically, a 2.6% increase upon completion of the principal certification.
2.5 you said?
2.6. And an additional 2.6% increase upon completion of superintendent certification. Those increases are not automatic, they're credential based. They only occur when those certifications are reached, and would bring the salary from 95 to 100,000 over time.
Anything else?
That would be it.
Okay.
Other than to say that these requests are intentionally limited, transparent, and tied directly to the responsibilities of my role. The goal is to support stability, accountability, and long-term planning for the district. I appreciate your consideration and the opportunity to discuss them.
Anybody have any questions on those items? Okay, I do too. Mr. Oldenburg, floor is yours.
Oh, I got a few. I need to get my head around a few of these. First of all, I think, thank you. I think everything we present is, reasonable and well justified. I do think there's at least some things I don't have my head around. And I think hopefully by the end of the meeting, I will have my head around some of it. One of which is not completely understand, so the very first thing, the request to have this contract reflect the 0.5 principal, 0 teacher. Just thinking about chicken and egg, do we need to do that to enable you to fly the position, or do we need to have terms in the contract that that if and when we get another teacher in, then that would take effect, or we would write a new contract at that time?
So, okay, you're asking, I anticipate being able to fill the position of a full-time science teacher. I anticipate being able to fill that. My current contract at 0.5 superintendent, 0.25 principal, this structure, this realignment would bring that up to the full 1.0.
Yes. I'm not sure if we can, until we have it filled, I'm not sure if we can remove that from contract. It's more of a question than I don't know. But then the second part is, then I still, to my satisfaction, do not understand who has the ultimate authority to decide the administrative makeup of the school. And 6,000 series is not clear on it, and even law, looking at MCA, there's language that makes a conflict in my brain, at least, so I don't understand it, and I've sought the answer, but haven't received it yet. Having said that, I do think there are some things about having two different individuals in at least a portion of the principal part that could be really beneficial. I could also see value in doing a 0.5, and then something like a dean of students. But the little bit of uncertainty on that does give me a little pause with jumping right there with this contract. But I do think putting a provision in there, I would certainly be comfortable with based on what I know now. I'll stop there for the moment. I love the incentivized with getting the certifications, and I haven't done the math, but what you're asking for at face value seems reasonable to me. So I'll stop there and let someone else talk, but unless you have any thoughts on anything I said.
Yes, I do feel that there is benefit to having an additional person in the office to take some administrative duties. In looking what's comparative schools our size, a lot of them have one single administrator who. But having somebody like in a dean of students position would help to relieve some of that administrative burden, and also be, I feel, fiscally responsible for a school our size.
Rather than having a full principal.
Rather than having a full principal.
The town where we came from, Highwood, it was a singular administrator, combined super and principal, and it actually, the lady that was doing it while we were there did a fantastic job, and, she did have a tremendous workload, but she, there was a lot of continuity between things, having one person, which was one of the benefits of it, so.
And I could share, Bia did send, she looked into a bunch of our area, statewide, I know it included like Winifred and a few things, whatever she could find information on easily. It was maybe a dozen schools and how it's Class C schools and how they're administered. The majority were just that. It was a 0.5 superintendent principal. Some of them were basically our old model of 0.5. I think, but actually it doesn't specify whether it was like 0.75 sup, 0.25 high school principal, and then someone else was either a 0.25 or a 0.5 elementary principal, and then 3/4 teacher or something
Yeah.
like that. But so there was a couple like that, and then there was even one, Alberton, I think, that's currently pursuing
Dean of
50-50 with an adder of a dean of students. So I think there's a lot of models out there, and I would like to, the one thing that I keep coming back to is that kind of separation of powers, the authority. I think that could benefit you in some ways. I just think there's a lot of pros and cons both ways, and I also don't understand whose authority it is to make that decision. It should happen, hopefully,
As a
collaborative consensus type decision.
adding a position like a dean of students would have to be very collaborative, including union involvement and everything. So
Yeah, but this overarching decision of, do we want a, but just theoretically, 0.5 suit, 0.5 high school principal, and someone else being 0.5 elementary principal, 0.5 teacher. Do we want a model like that, or do we want the 50-50 with the dean of students? I don't know whose authority it is to make that decision. Now, regardless of whose authority it is, I would hope it would happen with conversations and really looking and discussing the pros and cons and different models. I would love to. It's not my place, but I'd be curious to see what other stuff is really think of what the best potential administrative structure would be. Anyway, sorry, I don't want to get too far from the topic at hand. I just, without learning a little bit more about that, but also the chicken and the egg thing with the teacher component.
Isn't that just one of those things where if he takes on the full responsibility of principal and superintendent, then you just have a full opening for a teacher and post it as quick as you can and just substitute it out until you can get somebody in?
Potentially, I don't know if we
Or
can
would
get
it
along.
start
with
July
some.
1?
Oh,
No,
yeah,
it would
so July
start-
1, so
it
it
would-
happened,
it
oh, so it
started- I
happened.
would-
Oh, that's right.
I would finish off. I would finish
Yeah,
off
so,
this
yeah,
school
obviously,
year
yeah, so you'd,
under this current contract. This begins July 1st.
so you'd have the full summer to post the job, find a person, do the interviews,
And you already
everything
have an
like
idea
that,
how to
so,
handle that situation.
yeah, so,
Yeah,
yeah,
As far as
obviously.
posting it,
Well, yeah, you seem confident that you'll get it filled.
oh, I do. I think if I post it now,
Mm-hmm.
I think I would get it filled.
Right, so once, if that is the way we go, then you will be able to post it now.
Yes,
Yeah.
I can post it this week.
Those are great points. Okay, so forget that side of my concern. Now it's just is the 0.5 what everyone wants to do. I think that's the only lingering thought on that part of it.
Well, would that be one of those things that you do 0.5, and then if there is a workload need, that you start looking for other options as far as trying to find a dean of students or take one of the other breakdown duties?
I think regardless, I think a dean of students route is necessary.
Okay.
As far as adding another potential like 0.5 administrator, that's going to be determined by the number of students
Oh,
that we
okay,
have.
yeah.
And by law, it's determined by the number of students.
Oh, all right.
So right now, with our number of students, by law, we need at least a 0.5 superintendent and 0.25 principal to be under legal
Yep.
study.
By our kids, we need a 0.25. By our staff, we need a 0.5.
And the 0.25 is both elementary and high school, or
Yes.
the 0.25 for each?
The whole, the
Total.
school,
The
the
whole
total.
school.
Because I give her the whole numbers. I broke it down, but she has the whole numbers.
Right.
How many more kids would we need to have to jump up with the principal, do you know? Is it
In order to add, say, another 0.25 or 0.5 principal, we
to
need
go
about
to
50.
15 or 50?
50.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was pretty big.
So
Okay.
if we go forward with a 3-year term and you decide that's not the model you like, or what does the amendment process look like? Or would we be stuck with that model until the next contract renewal?
If we went through the process and then, and something over the 3 years happens where we
Or we
gain
look
the 50 students that necessitates legally the need for another certificated administrator, and I would bring that to you, we would post that job, and we'd seek for a person to have that.
So,
Post it internally, and I always want to seek internal.
Right. But from a purely legal risk perspective, anything like that, we would be obligated. So there'd either be a mutual agreement, there'd have to be a mutual agreement to reopen the contract. Or if it's an early termination without cause, then we are responsible to pay the superintendent for the remainder of the contract,
Right.
even if they're no longer in service.
And it's very clear in here of early termination, breach of contract.
I'm
with
not
good
necessarily
cause.
talking about termination, I'm just talking about if we wanted to go with a different
He'd have the
structure, like
mutual,
bring on a,
So effectively, the
have
board
to-
would be relinquishing that authority until the contract was up.
okay,
Yeah.
that's what I
Because
was,
we're not, we can't.
unless we,
Pay for some too.
he mutually came to us and said, hey, we need to open this, but.
I want to back up just a second. I said we need 50 more students. I don't know that that is the exact number.
sure.
Just
yeah.
But
close,
it's
yeah.
something
Placeholder,
like
yeah.
that number.
That's what I was
I
curious.
don't want to throw out a number.
If it was
and-
5 or
and
10
then it's
or
like-
50,
But it's something,
so.
Okay.
it's a substantial
I'm more
increase
saying,
of
let's
student
say-
population.
Hypothetically, the dean of students discussion with the union didn't go how we expected, there was some problem with that. And all of a sudden, it's like, okay, maybe we do want a .25 principal who is a different person.
Mhm.
And that's more what I'm saying, is if something like that were to happen, we would have to, we could change the language in the contract if we both parties agreed that we wanted to do something different or needed to do something different.
We'll change the language in the contract how?
Like,
Reducing my FTE?
yes, and
So that
just
would-
restructuring.
If we didn't get a dean of students,
Yes, and then bringing on a second person as a .25 person,
Like-
for example, just hypothetical.
So that would put me under a 1.0 FTE. It would make me less than a
Right.
full-time employee.
If we needed to shuffle that whole structure around and,
Uh-huh.
you know, give you more teaching responsibilities or anything like
We could
that.
add principal to teacher responsibilities. Could shift it to, okay, you're gonna be .5 high school principal.
Sure.
And then we hire a .25 elementary
Right.
principal.
So those are all, I guess I'm just saying,
Those are,
if any of those circumstances were to arise in the next 3 years,
Mhm.
would we have the means to make that happen?
If the language in our contract right now stands, no. He would have to come to the board
I would have to come to the
and
board and
But
request,
if we mutually wanted that to happen, then
no, he would have to.
I would have to
You would
come
have
to
to.
you and request open negotiations.
okay.
If we kept the language the way that it is right now, that's the way it would have to be done.
Okay.
But like in Harlow's contract, we have it in there that if we both mutually, think that we need to revisit the contract, it's in there. It's kinda stated that way in there.
I was just looking for clarification, not necessarily thinking we change anything.
Okay.
Just curious.
So I wanna ask you, cause you, we're talking about superintendent and principal and it, in here, where your 5 days
Mhm.
for vacation, I'm looking under the vacation and I don't have any days whatsoever in there other than 2 executive days must be approved by the board chair or board vacations day taken by the superintendent. I don't see.
So I think it says in there that vacation leave is
I see personal is entitled to 7 it's under personal leave. The superintendent shall be entitled to 7 days of personal leave per calendar. Did you want to add 5 days to that?
no, what I'm not asking for the personal leave.
Okay,
By
well,
our policy, the personal leave cannot be bought back.
correct. Well, that's what I'm asking is because in this contract,
Mhm.
Can I interject, Amber?
Please
That
do.
will, so vacation leave is accrued by X amount of days, hours, set by Montana state law.
So that must be the Title
The
II,
Title
Chapter
II,
8,
Chapter-
Part 6.
That is correct, so
And-
it's not a set amount of days, you earn X amount of hours
Okay.
per month worked.
And those
So
accrue.
we
And
want to
those
add
accrue.
5 more to
No, I'm not
No.
asking to add 5 more.
No.
He wants
no.
to be paid out for it.
I'm asking for, okay, so many days get added every month, and then I come to the end of the year and I haven't used them, I can buy back 5 of them.
He wants,
per
he just
diem.
wants the money in lieu of the
No,
time
I
off.
get all of that.
And
I'm
my
just trying
point-
to find what language we're changing
So
in this contract.
It's read the lot, section
There's
9.
there's nothing in this contract that allows for for buying back vacation leave.
Okay, so you want to
Right.
add that language
So
in.
it's a
Okay.
new
Thank
new
you.
So
language.
maybe I misunderstand what you're asking for. The last sentence of that section says, if allowed through district policy, the superintendent may be provided cash compensation for unused vacation days in lieu of accumulation of vacation. Are you talking about something different than that?
Okay, if allowed through district policy, superintendent may be provided cash compensation for unused vacation days. This,
So
What was
it
your
is
question?
in there,
Is that what you're seeking, is what's already there? Or are you,
but he's putting a
that's
cap
what I
on
thought
only
you were asking
5
for.
days.
I'm putting a cap of up to 5 days.
So right now, there's no cap in there.
There's no
There's no cap.
cap.
You could cash out 3 years worth of, or I don't know, a carryover over. the new
If
year.
allowed by policy.
Mr. Whitesell cashed out every year, all of his hours that he accrued throughout the year.
The reason why the way I do negotiations in my head and what works for me is I go in and highlight what you want to change, the
Gotcha.
language that you want to change. So I'm trying to find it in here and what language we're changing. Sorry.
I mean,
So your motivation is a kindness to give us some financial
for
stability.
the policy.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that you know,
Budget.
that
and
you know, that
purposes.
taxpayers know, like, what's the cap?
That's,
Maximum of 40 hours.
Yes.
Okay.
that is awesome and very good of you.
So and then your
What was the cap in the past?
No,
There
there is
wasn't.
nothing. There wasn't
So how
one.
many did they?
Cash out 10 years worth of PTO if you wanted to. So
Well, there is state
There
law
is-
as to how many
How
hours
high
you
it can be.
can't
Yeah.
You eventually
accumulate.
lose some.
And then you
Right.
get to
So
the
what
point
did the
that you
previous
cannot.
cash out just out of curiosity? At one time,
I don't know off the top of my head, but it was,
substantially more than 5?
oh yes,
10?
yes.
Oh,
15? Whoa.
Pretty much all of them accrued throughout the year. It was a big chunk of change.
that's why if you read your CBA, we do have a cap in the CBA.
And
But that's totally different.
That's why
That's weird.
I said CBA.
Yeah.
I
So
put-
there's,
So the next, you want a 3-year contract cap
hold on,
on
can
the.
we finish, can we put a bow on each one
Yeah.
as we go?
Sure.
Sorry.
You guys.
Do we address this? Read the policy a lot of times, but I don't remember off the top of my head. Is it addressed in district policy? In board policy? Do you know if it is?
What?
This,
Oh, the
Payout.
vacation payout?
yes.
No.
It must be allowed because it was done by the previous superintendent.
It is not in our policies. It would be in their contracts because our contracts with our teacher is our CBA, and then our superintendent and principal have individual contracts.
So
So-
state law says
Yeah.
unless district policy says
Yes.
something different. So I wanna, so if it is in district policy, I wanna identify it so we know what it says.
I don't have it in our policy. I don't have my policy book. I did not bring it tonight.
I've got a PDF. I will do a quick look and see if I can find it.
I know where to find it in the CBA.
But CBA doesn't apply.
No, it does not comply here. It does for principal though, doesn't it? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Mrs. Horner's was separation.
I thought
It's.
And there is carryover between years for accruals.
Yes.
Not on the personal leave. The personal leave is 7 days, and then
Mhm.
if it's not used at the end of that year, then it goes away
Got
in
it.
another 7 days.
So I found it
And
in
there is no
policy,
payout on personal leave.
board policy 5334 has very generic language.
5344.
5334. But it doesn't put any extra provisions beyond, what's in MCA 218-617. So, thanks for that, I think that's fantastic.
So the next point was the first thing you asked for was a 3-year contract.
Yes.
Right now it just states 1, so that's pretty self-explanatory. Then the next thing was the 5 vacation day cap, which we just went through. The third thing is the salary. So you want to take your .25 FTE principal and make it a 5 FTE principal.
1.5, yes.
And you,
But that would require, if I'm understanding what you asked for accurately, that would require a rate adjustment, because if I understood correctly, you're asking for an identical salary.
Mhm.
So,
well, that's what I was just about to get to,
Okay,
is that
sorry.
so we would be increasing on your principal part, not, or did you want it to, because it matters.
It could be evenly split
However.
between,
Yes,
it could be evenly split between the two.
okay, so right now,
so one of them would be decreasing is actually what would happen.
no,
Yes, in terms of the value per FTE, one of them would be decreasing to achieve what Mr. Ramsey is stating. Because, so the value would increase,
Mhm.
but the value per FTE would be decreasing to achieve that.
now.
So essentially, the
just
hourly
really
rate,
confusing.
so if we looked at the superintendent piece or the principal piece, as compared to what's in the current contract, the hourly rate would go down to some degree to ultimately arrive at the same salary that.
No, I don't understand that. That doesn't make it, that does not compute whatsoever in my head. Because he is right now, basically, and tell me if I'm wrong, but you have a .25 teacher salary, right? So you want to make up the difference, because you make your grand is like
Mhm.
this amount. You wanna take that much and put it into these FTEs.
Into the .5 suit, .5 principal.
Mhm.
Yes,
So-
because the teacher side of the teacher contract side will go away.
Right. That I'm right on page with you.
Okay.
So
Let me do the math so I
Please.
can explain it easy real fast.
thank you. So 16,420 is what you make
Yeah.
off your teachers. So we would now where do you want that 16?
Added on
Where do you want to add it? Because it does
to the
it-
principal duties?
Well, that's what I want to know from Mr. Ramsey, where you'd like to add it, because it does make a difference. Because if your contract changes down the line, or we grow and everything, money it makes. Tammy gets
As
what I'm
far
trying to
as-
say.
Well, yes and no. So let me use an example when, a couple of superintendents ago, we had a superintendent that his job was superintendent, elementary principal.
Yes.
One set amount
Right.
for those job duties. It wasn't broke out, this much is for superintendent, this much is for principal. Then we had a part-time high school principal / teacher. So it was broke out, but the amounts are the same, it's just the duty shifts within that amount. There's still a full 1.0. It's not broke out to .5 soup, this .5.
The dollar amount allocated to the FTE is inconsequential.
Right,
So it's just one whole
It's-
number.
So,
It's a realignment of the duties.
Right.
okay, let me explain what I'm trying to get across, and then if you guys
Gotcha.
get it, you can just tell me that I'm ridiculous. But so in the contract currently, we actually attribute how much is for 0.5 of a soup and 0.25 of a principal. And I think that matters because it can set precedent. So what is the value we're replacing on your superintendent responsibilities, and what is the value we're placing on your principal?
Thank
So,
you, that's
Okay.
what I'm
so
trying to.
for reference, right now, if you were paid at the rate of a 1.0 superintendent, that would be $112,000 a year at the rate that we agreed to. If you were paid at the rate of a 1.0 principal, that would be $90,000 a year. And if you were paid as a 1.0 teacher, that would be $66,000 a year. So, what I'm getting at is, if we were to just say, we're gonna keep these current rates, and we're gonna remove the teacher part and replace it with an extra 0.25 of principal, then that would be about $6,000 increase. So in order to keep you at the same salary you're currently making, we would have to adjust one or both of the rates that we're currently valuing the superintendent piece and the principal piece
Yes.
at. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's
Yes.
exactly
Is
what
that
I,
the 2.6 rate of increase that you were talking about upon completion of your duties? Is that tied to that?
I think
No,
that's after.
That's separate,
been
Okay.
right.
So the way I'm understanding it is basically the 0.25 principal is gonna go to a 0.5, and we will add on the 16,420 to make it 38,920 to come up with the same.
well, that's where I wanna clarify to make sure, because like Eric said, we valued these to set precedent for going forward, so.
So total compensation is 95, is that correct?
Yes,
Currently, and that's what you're seeking,
yes.
and that's very much appreciated, and I think you're working hard, and I think you're doing an amazing job.
That's what I'm thinking until certification
Yes.
milestone.
Right.
Yeah, but I just wanna say publicly that I appreciate that, since it's only technically been 6 months, and what is the term, or is it provisional for what is the proper term for your current capacity of acting as both principal and superintendent? Until you get certified, is it provisional? I can't remember
It's not like my certification,
yeah.
because I'm part of that internship program, I'm fully certified.
Fully certified, but I think it's a provisional certification
Until completion of the
Right.
internship.
Anyway, given where we're at, I appreciate what you're asking for. Yeah, I think we should do it. I just think we should have a conversation about where that reduction in rate comes, so that you stay at 95 until we hit the 2 benchmarks. Well,
It would be in how the contract is written.
so I would like to see the contract written the same, where it says a certain amount is attributable to superintendent and a certain amount is attributable to the principal. If that's the case, then we would need to decide how much is.
Like 60% of 95,000 is attributable to superintendent, 40% is principal.
Well, that's the point
But
we're
you're,
at.
you're placing a value on it for precedent, it doesn't actually affect the.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I wanna do my vote would be that we do exactly what you're saying.
Mhm.
It's just how to do it is what I'm getting at.
I mean, can you not just extrapolate the current value assignment to the number that Mr. Ramsey's seeking?
Can't we just add his 16,420 onto the 22,500, coming up with 38,920? Then we're right at the 95. So he's sticking with his same, and he's taking on more principal duties.
That's what I came up with too as well. With
So
the
I just-
superintendent at the 9680, principal duties go up by 0.25, but then you add the additional 16,420 to bring everything up to the total of 95.
It wouldn't be the
Which would
exact same
bring
proportions
principal
going
rate for a 0.5 principal up to 38,920.
Yes,
Yeah,
so we
that's what
could
I
do
thought.
that. We'd be, from a money perspective, we'd be valuing the principal piece less than what we currently have it at.
Correct.
And so it's just a matter of,
The attribution changes.
like, let's just say Mr. Ramsey decided enough with you guys and he left and we decided to hire a principal and a superintendent, we've got this precedent. Do we think that $112,000 a year for the equivalent, a full-time equivalent, is right for superintendent when compared to 90,000 for?
Oh, I honestly think that if Mr. Ramsey did decide to go somewhere else, it doesn't matter until the person's sitting in that chair.
And what the need is
What
at
they
the time.
bring, yeah, and what they bring to the
0.5,
table.
0.25.
I totally agree. Everything is, it's a negotiation, but it's also, I do think precedent matters and maybe you can get yourselves into trouble if you're treating one person wildly different than you're treating another person.
But what they're describing doesn't seem too far off of,
It's not.
it's, I mean,
Absolutely.
the math, you'd adjust each of them a little bit, but it's pretty close to what I think we're all.
No, I actually like that plan. I'm just, for the record, I think
Okay,
it's worth
Miss Tammy,
thoroughly
can
talking
you,
through it, I guess.
give me
For
the
sure.
numbers of how you got it fixed in there? So the superintendent, he would get paid what now?
The same,
The
5680.
same that he currently is, the $56,080,
Mm-hmm.
and the principal for a 0.5 principal piece of it would then come up to $38,920, or it could be adjusted to 0.5 superintendent could be $55,000, 0.5 principal could be 40. You're still coming to the 95.
Okay.
Do you
I actually
wanna
kinda-
adjust that?
Kind of like that 5540.
Do you like that?
What do folks think about that to clean up some numbers? And I do think proportionally that's a little better.
Oh,
Okay, I just need to know, cause I have to take notes on this stuff and I'd like to know where to put my
I
numbers.
don't think it really matters if it's 56 unless your numbers like.
Everybody wants that
You're
number.
saying it looks better for the numbers on your end, so as long as we're giving him the 95.
5540 sounds good.
Okay,
Full
so,
numbers are always wonderful.
okay,
sounds like.
Yes.
Miss
Yeah,
Tammy,
I just
so
rounded
those
it.
numbers would be what now?
Um,
Up and down.
0.5 superintendent, $55,000.
Okay,
0.5 K-12 principal, $40,000, for a total compensation of $9,500, or excuse me, $95,000. You are really helping our budget. For the
9,000.
The 95,000.
Out of
okay,
curiosity, I had a question. When do you foresee completion of your principal and then your superintendent?
I should be done with the principal, assuming that the University of Montana runs the classes that I need to take this summer. I should be done with the principal in August.
Oh, okay.
So August, scratch that. The semester continues into September a little bit.
Okay, so September of
September,
26.
yeah.
And how about the super? Do you?
I'll have 4 more classes to take. Taking 2 classes during the school year and semester is extremely difficult. I've realized I will be taking 1 class per semester, finishing August of 27.
Okay.
And do you receive those credentials at the completion of the course, or do you have to wait until the formal graduation for them to release that?
At the completion of the course, and because I'm in the internship program, we
Nice,
go
okay.
through the submit paperwork to
Cool.
OPI and
More.
their timelines. As soon as I'm able to provide the certification to the district, then those increases will go in.
Okay.
So just for everybody's awareness, what with those 2.6% increases, the first one when the principal certification was complete would bring it to 97,470, and Mr. Ramsey's good at math. The second one would bring it to $100,004.20.
Yes, sir.
Good thing the math teacher.
okay, and
Or not
so
science,
where do you want to put those, that language that you were just talking, where do you wanna put that in
It would be
item 6?
Probably.
compensation item 6,
Okay.
yeah.
Dia could determine.
My-
It could
that-
be its own section.
And that kind of brings
Incentives.
my final request is that Kellogg Law write the contract.
No objection made. Absolutely. Does anyone have thoughts on a 3-year contract?
And you said you should be completely completed with superintendent within the 3 years?
Oh, yeah.
You said summer of 27 you were hoping to.
Yeah. The only thing that would get in the way of that is if the University of Montana does not offer a class that I need when I need it,
Which does happen.
which does happen. And just as a reminder too, I just kind of throw out there, it really doesn't pertain too much to the contract negotiations. The principal certification, as a reminder, I'm going through right now. I've already gone through when I earned my master's degree in 2004 in educational administration. So I'm essentially taking the equivalent coursework for a principal certification a second time
For Montana.
For Montana.
for Montana.
State specific. As far as a 3-year contract, what concerns would the board have? I think it's a vote of confidence for sure. But we're 6 months into the contract and it's a long time. I don't know. It's reasonable for sure. Or we're 6 months into your current role.
Something you really want to do for another 3 years?
Oh, for sure.
All right.
And I think, I think it, Mr. Ramsey's point, even within the school, it gives a confidence, stability, type of thing, and from a budgetary perspective, it gives us, financial certainty. The two downsides perhaps are, one could be if this administrative structure, if after a year, it didn't seem like the best administrative structure, we'd be kind of stuck, potentially, unless there was a joint agreement to rediscuss it. And the second one that I think about, and I have full faith in Mr. Ramsey and trust in Mr. Ramsey, but I just think it's just thinking about standard practices and procedures and, negotiating a longer term contract. I think, taking the human being out of it, just generally speaking, would be something to be considered at the time of full certification, as opposed to prior to getting those, wrapped up. But that's, I don't know, I'm just thinking through pros and cons of the 3-year contract.
So, my thing, Tammy, as a budget, I need your opinion or your guidance on the budget with the 2.6% increases on both of those. Do we have that?
Yes.
And a 3-year contract, there's no more going up, and that's the only increase that
That's-
we would see.
Until we're sitting back here in this situation.
I think,
And as an employee who has been through a turnover of superintendent, administrative staff every 2 years, 1 year, 2 year, 2 year, 2 year, longevity and consistency would be fabulous.
I am really trying to build some continuity amongst the staff, provide some structure that allows for establishing protocols and norms that can transcend whoever's sitting in this role. It takes some time to do that. It takes some time to shift the culture of the building, and I think the feedback that I've received from multiple places have provided that there's a bit of a culture shift that we're seeing. And I would love the opportunity to continue the momentum that we're building academically, culturally, amongst our students, our staff, and our community.
When did you start teaching here?
To 2020.
Now, since we've heard his side of negotiations, is there anything that the board would like to add in this contract? Or take away?
It's pretty forward from the
Yeah, no, I think not for me. No. I mean, I was going to suggest incentive-based, exactly what Mr. Ramsey, I didn't have a specific percentage in mind, but was gonna suggest that we look at compensation that way, so I love that. The term of the contract is sorry, outside
No,
of things we
no.
talked about, I don't have any other.
I think by having him do the 0.5 and the 0.5, and then even this year, we have to be seeing a lot of money being saved, not having Whitesell and Rhonda especially. It's saving us a ton of money, and it seems
Yes.
to be like you're managing it very well.
Yeah, so to that point, Kyra, I think, our last contract with Whitesell was 110.
Correct.
And I believe that was 0.75 suit, 0.25 principal. Is that how that one was?
No, it is 5.5.
It was 0.5.
It was 0.5 elementary.
Yeah,
Rhonda was 0.5 elementary.
and
The
then.
very last year he was.
Right,
he
Yeah.
was-
So
So he was.
So I think,
He was.
He was superintendent principal combined, it wasn't broke out within his contract, he's 0.5 this, he's this.
He was
He is
principal and
the
stuff.
superintendent slash high school
So
principal.
when we were paying him 110, what were we paying her to be principal the same time, like 80?
No, it was 70, but she was also the Title I teacher, the library person, the tech person. She was filling a lot of roles.
Yes.
I could be wrong, but I suspect that if this is what's agreed to, what Mr. Ramsey presented, and we did a 0.5 dean of students, I think that we would still be
Under
under
I
what we
that's
were
what I
in
was
that last year.
doing the math.
Because a dean of students would very much want to take a person internally into that role. It means they'd be a certified teacher, they'd be on the teacher's salary matrix.
Yeah, and do you see any, and I keep bringing it up, but I wanna ask you, do you see any advantage to having a separate individual being, say, 0.25 of one or the other, so that there is a second, the second person in a position that requires administrative certification?
To protect yourself, even.
Yeah, I think there's, exactly, could be to protect yourself, it could be to have another step in formal processes, it, could be to have a second leader, so to speak.
I do see some benefit to that. Protections also, as far as evaluations of staff, like dean of students would not evaluate staff. But staff evaluations. lead
But
to
if we
students.
did a dean of students, and because dean of students, you can have a certified administration, like if they have the administration, if we had somebody in-house that had the administration part, they
Right.
could, under dean of student, evaluate. But the way that it is, if we wrote it as dean of students as a certified and they did not have the administration part of it, then they could not evaluate, correct?
No, because they'd be evaluating people in the same bargaining unit.
Okay.
Can't have union evaluating union.
Yeah, that's the part I just keep getting hung up on, is like, trying to really understand that piece and what's the pros and cons.
Annie,
Yes, ma'am.
are you on board with everything that we have discussed? Do you have any questions?
My concern is what Eric just was mentioning.
Okay.
So I just don't feel comfortable agreeing to the logistics of it, or without knowing the logistics. I don't know. That one just seems like the only issue I have. But other than that, yes.
And this is related to the term of the contract, in my view. So if, I'd be much more comfortable, okay, let's get this in place, we got a year to really put some thought into it, and if it's not the right model, in a year, we'd be talking about how to restructure. But making this decision now, not feeling like I have all the information for a 3-year decision is a little more challenging for me.
Well,
Well, oh, sorry, Kyrie, go ahead.
you go ahead.
Okay, so my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we have negotiations with the NEA next year. That cycle is next year, is when their collective bargaining is up. We do not know how, what, when, or what we're looking at as far as a dean of student, even if that is going to be the direction that we have. So talking about it is kind of, it's very important, yes, but it also is a moot point because we have not entered into negotiations for dean of students with our teachers. So what we want out of it, we might not get in any way, shape, or form. So we are talking about a hypothetical situation of what we want as a board, what we are seeing, but that might be mountains of what they see, and we're gonna have to find common ground.
So I hope I'm not the only one, but I might be. But I'm pretty ignorant to that process. I haven't participated in union negotiations. So if the decision was made that we want that dean of students is the way to go, what specifically would we be negotiating with the union? Just the pay of that?
The creation of the position
The
and
creation
its
of it.
placement on,
The pay scale.
well, it would be a person, it would be based on the person's certification,
Yes.
or based on their experience and where they are in steps and lanes.
Mm-hmm.
So if the board said, or the superintendent said, however it works, we want to do the dean of students, the union would have the authority to veto that essentially?
Yeah.
Or they could,
So it's not.
whereas if it's a principal, that is not the case.
We've already established that it's in the CBA, it's under, we already have that job description wrote out. But because we are necessarily writing a new job description that will affect their collective bargaining, they're entitled to have a voice.
So that makes me even more nervous about all of this.
This seems
That's
like
what I'm saying.
some of the principals and superintendent's job already. So why would we wanna hire somebody else to start taking some of their work from them?
In the dean of students,
Yeah. I mean, when Lakeville was here, he opened and closed the school, or one of them would look at the lunchroom, I mean, that's all right here on top, so.
in my
we're gonna
mind, it's
hire
about
somebody.
net workload and getting Mr. Ramsey to a reasonable place. So back then, we also had another part-time or some percentage principal, so a second administrative person
Because-
supporting things.
Oh, yeah, cause like right now, if we have an IEP, we only have one administration. If we have a discipline action, we only have one. So if we have an
this would be
IEP and
temporary.
discipline going on at the same time, the dean of students could do the disciplinary act, like help with that, and he could go to the IEP. So there's benefits in it. I'm just saying right now, what is in front of us, I know this is gonna sound kinda asinine, but what is in front of us is Mr. Ramsey wanting a 0.5 and a 0.5 superintendent and principal contract. We don't know as a unit, as the board, we don't know where we're going to be in a year, 2 years with dean of students. That's what I'm saying. Like, yes, right now it is a pipe dream. We know
So
we
just
want
push
to
this
get
off
him.
to the side.
Well, we want to give him help up front. We just don't know how it's gonna look.
Well, I think even if we do get a dean of students, him being a 0.5 and a 0.5 is still equivalent to when we had 2 people running it, even if we don't get them.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, like, we're thinking about, well, because we don't know, because it is a financial decision, because if we do another position, there's money that's gonna have to go to pay for that. And because he will be helping out with this job load, do we move some of this money over into this position? I get it, but right now, he's wanting 3-year contract, this and this, and we don't even know if this will happen.
Well, I think there's pros and there's cons with a 3-year contract. I've looked into it a lot because there was a lot of scuttlebutt. The last time you guys gave 3 years, the town
No,
was
we
not.
we've never give 3 years in 7 years that I've been here. It's
Was
2.
it?
2.
I thought you
The
gave.
most we've given was 2. 2.
I thought it was 3.
There was a
He
3.
cut out early.
2.
Well, regardless, it was heavily discussed.
It was heavily
To your
discussed,
point.
and I was in the townspeople discussing it. And when the meeting closed, people were
There was people that didn't want any contract.
well, that too, that too.
That had to
So
do
they,
a lot
but
to do with that
but what I
person.
was told, Mr. Ramsey, and this is purely from my time out there in the public, that there was never a 3-year given until that. Is that true, Tammy? Was there ever in
I
your
don't know about in the past. I
so
only know since I
That
was
was your
a
only-
few years ago.
so I've always heard that a 1 or a 2 is more logistic, but then of course looking into things, a 3 also provides stability, what is needed to implement long-term goals, what Tammy said, the turnover we've seen, but then there's the cons of the buyout. If he does decide he hates it, or if we ever had anything, and you know, I did look up, some states only allow 2 years. They won't even let you go for 2 years.
Yep, in Montana it's 3.
Yeah.
That's your
So-
maximum 3.
Those are the pros and cons where I go back and forth in my head. I remember, I'll have to look at that, but I'm pretty sure there was a 3.
No, there's 2. He kept it max at 2.
Maybe he had the year and then he
Yep,
got
and then
2,
got
so he
2,
had
and
3
then
at one
he-
time.
Yeah,
but-
that was how that one
Is that how that went? I know I was at home in the
Because I
phone.
heard all the scuttlebutt.
Yeah, it started
You
raining.
But it did get that extra.
So just saying, you know, sometimes the 3 gets people 1 and 2, but then I look at the vision we have, the way the community and everybody is really loving what we got going on now, the things he's doing, the work he's putting into it, we're saving a ton of money. So I guess that's just what I wanted to bring to your guys' attention.
Good points.
So it's a hard
So
one.
we can deal with this and deal with this later, right?
Well, we have to have some plan
Yeah.
to alleviate his workload.
Like we do with science teacher.
I think if we get a
But
deal,
to Jim's point, we don't have to define it.
No,
no,
no.
knowledge that there is a need. Tonight, we gotta figure
Right,
out.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
this can
Yes.
stay over here for right now.
And if that falls through, then we can bring in another 0.25 principal. But
If it's needed.
if it's needed.
So if we-
It's such a need.
If our student enrollment suddenly increases over the summer and we are legally obligated,
so maybe we can put that in the contract if we're legally obligated.
Well, no, legally
No.
obligated is legally obligated, regardless of what your
Oh.
contract says. The law is the law.
So
Well, it still should be reflected.
I think it needs to
Well, it
have
probably
some.
would.
It
You
probably
guys
already
do.
did.
I was supposed to say, you guys do see all of these
I would think
anecdotes
that
that
too.
she has.
Yes. But I mean, if we have to, so quick question, Dean of Students, let's say we get one next year. What would that look like? Would that look like, okay, in my mind, Mr. Haven still being the athletic director, but also he's gonna be the Dean of Students too? Or would that be Miss Swanson teaching first grade, but she's the Dean of Students as well? Or would they completely abandon their other duties if we are in-house and go completely full-time to Dean of Students?
those are both equally likely to happen.
Okay, so I'm
So
kind
I
of,
mean, it
so we're
very
kind
much,
of gonna be the same amount of money out with the same in-house
because it would
with our
be,
budget,
it would be a certificated teacher.
okay?
They would not, other than what they would normally move on the pay scale is
So pretty much to go in this route keeps our taxpayers still saving some money. And that's what I like.
Yes.
And that's where I like Mr. Ramsey at the 95, even though I did have somebody say, you know, what White Cell got was 110. We're saving money. Maybe they should get more. So I think I appreciate you. I'm just being honest with what people say. He's asking what he's asking for, and I appreciate it, especially since, you know, you helped us out. You know, we voted and put you in this position. I think it's going good. My only issue is 3 years. I'm almost thinking 2, and not because I dislike you, but because the reasons I stated, and with what. But I like the way it's going, and I like what Tammy said about the longevity too. So that's the only place I'm a little bit stuck. I agree. When you get your
Right.
certificates, you need raise for those.
I like the view because he lives here.
Then there's
I
that too,
mean, he
Jim.
don't have a rental.
Here.
He
No,
owns-
I
You have
I
that.
am.
I'm going to that.
I mean, that,
So
And I think the uncertainty is a double-edged sword because the long-term contract can provide some certainty and some assurances. At the same time, because we're at a point where there is some level of uncertainty with how we're going to administer in the future. Also, I was part of the superintendent's evaluation. I think you're doing a wonderful job. But I also think we're still in the honeymoon phase, and you know, things.
Yeah.
We're gonna probably get thrown some big curveballs in the future, and we're gonna have to navigate and try and keep community support and engage with the. You know, I just think it's very early, and so for no. I guess I'll put it this way: if everything we've talked about and this was a 1-year contract, I would say, can we please sign this and go home? I'm not 100% against a longer term contract, but that's kind of my thought on it. But also appreciate that you have decisions to make. It matters to you too, and having more certainty is very desirable. But that's not what it's about for me of why I wouldn't want to, or why I'd be hesitant to offer it, if that makes sense. But really, probably the biggest thing is being somewhat locked into this particular structure for 3 years. Makes me a little nervous, and maybe there could be language that could help alleviate that. That's a possibility that the BM might be able to help us navigate. But
Why are we so quiet?
well, next year, the ones that would,
Oh, he was
be
talking about-
relieved of the science part, so that,
Awesome.
right now, that's a lot on your plate.
Just send me a text message about it later.
If you can survive this year,
yes, I think I assume everybody agrees that the teaching component, you need a new science teacher. Mr. Mercer, quiet what you're thinking, man.
yeah. Well,
it all sounds good to me. I honestly, I think a 3-year contract is fine if that's what he wants to do. 3 years isn't really that long to suffer through, even if things go poorly. So,
no, we've suffered through worse.
and if there
Not
is
saying you're bad.
and if there is more need for extra duties or whatever, then you know, there is by law there is allowances for that. So yeah, I'm okay with what it is as it stands.
You got 4 more months, and then it'll be a little bit easier.
How are you feeling?
I'm comfortable with giving him 3 years because throughout the years that I've been on the board, that's the one thing that our teachers in our community has asked for is the same captain, the same captain guiding the ship, because we get something going, and then all of a sudden it's second year and they're like, see ya, peace, and we're left changing the whole direction of the whole school again, and
And there's like a 20-year precedent for that.
so, I mean, it's one of the things that, as a board member, we have asked the community and we've asked our staff, what are the things that we can do to help? And this is something that we can give them. And Tammy has
So in 3
told-
years, he can't, it's just no more, right?
What do you mean, no more?
They can only be a superintendent for 3 years?
No,
No,
you can
3
get
years.
another
You can
contract
get-
for
you
3
can
years.
get-
Yeah, like next year, during his evaluation, he can say, hey, I wanna negotiate, let's add another year. He just can't go over 3.
Okay.
We
So-
can reopen
Yeah.
negotiations.
But, and as, for that instance, the, Montana code, like, if we give him a 3-year contract and next year we do his evaluation, we do not have to have this done by February the 1st because he already is legally under contract. It's only when they're in their last contract, when they only have one, when they're finishing
So-
their year.
A 3-year contract, we go 2 years before having to do
Yep.
this part again.
I think stability of the school would.
And financially,
Yeah.
when he does get the increases of the 2.6 on both of them, Tammy has indicated that we financially would be okay. So that doesn't scare me. The 3 years, I think that's the best thing that we could do for our stakeholders that have asked us. It's scary, to be honest, but I don't think he's gonna pack up and move.
No.
So.
Mr. Ramsey, if the Dean of Students doesn't work with the NCA, the union, are you comfortable with the full responsibilities for you to
Yes.
handle it? If it didn't, it would be awesome if it did, that would be ideal, but
Yeah.
if it doesn't work, you're not worried about that
No.
workload?
So you looking at this for this year or next year?
Next year.
Okay. Yeah, throw it in the garbage.
No, that's information. Knowledge is power. Annie,
Yes,
and what are your concerns?
my concern is the 3-year term. I just feel like that's a big chunk of time to give. But we are a majority ruling board, so.
So it was said that, well, yes, you know, to Mr. Mercer's point, you can fight through anything for an amount of time. At the same time, if we look at the life of a student, 3 years is a long time. That is going from the learning to read to reading to learn phase, right? It's meaningful, and I fully trust Mr. Ramsey. This isn't about that, but it's been my experience that what we should always do is, regardless of how much we know and we trust, the future is never certain, and we should always back up all of the good things we're doing with good, solid agreements that have meaningful protections in them. And so, I just not comfortable with 3 years, probably regardless of, even if we had someone who'd been doing it in this school for 20 years, I just don't know. It's just a long time. Mrs. Bosker had asked about potentially thinking about 2 years. How would you feel about something like that? Recognizing that even next year, I believe you could ask for that.
Absolutely, he
So
could
that
add.
so that you had more than 1 year of certainty.
I would be okay with that.
But it's 3 year, we'd be locked in with this price right here, right?
That's absolutely, and
Instead of 2 years, he could say, well, I want more.
he absolutely could. That's
And if we really liked him, or we'd be in a jam, we would have to do something.
But he's given me no indication that he's gonna come back and ask for something exorbitant.
I would.
I think.
That's why you're not super.
I would say leadership turnover in a school is difficult to overcome. continuity of leadership in a school is extremely important. I've been in schools where there's been change of leadership, and it's draining on, as a staff member, it is draining, because you don't know different expectations each year, different initiatives, you don't know what to expect one year to the next. And I've also been in a school where the leader was there for a decade, and everybody knew what they were doing. You were comfortable, you were able to do your job in teaching students because you knew what to expect from leadership.
And you alluded to something earlier, I think there's a lot of truth to this. A role like this, a leadership role, it takes a while, especially if you're gonna go about it the right way and not be authoritarian about it, to implement your vision, get buy-in, and really get something built. And I think that's a really good reason to have, longer term. I guess at this point, I would suggest we consider the 2-year option. I think you had said you would be agreeable to that. Or maybe.
Oh, well.
But he didn't hear I said, I can't say what.
So,
I would prefer the third.
okay, so,
Negotiation, right?
Well,
okay, since it is, like Mr. Bass just said, this is negotiation, and because we have a counter, and since we have openly discussed what we want, I, as the board, would like to take a poll on, which way we would like to represent and counter with him. So, we're all in agreement with the,
When you want a poll like that, actually, some of it,
Yeah.
nope, I
Shows
don't
the
want, I
breakdown.
do not wanna vote.
We are allowed to do straw man.
Yes,
to-
we are.
To gauge where people are at,
Yes,
in the interest of arriving at consensus.
because we have to,
Okay.
I think.
we are, absolutely.
We are?
Yes, because we have to counter. He made a negotiation. He made whatever it's called to us. Then we make ours to him. And since there is 8 of us, that's 8 different ways. And I don't want to throw out a motion that I don't know my full board is behind. So I'm going to ask. So we're all in agreement with, because I think we only have one item that we need to take a poll on. But for dexterity and for the public, we are in agreement that we like the language that he is presenting to us with the, hold on, there it is. The limit, 5-day cap on his vacation crew.
The
Payout.
limited annual payout of up to 5 unused accrued vacation days.
Correct. We're all in favor of that.
Mhm.
Annie?
Yes, I am in favor of that.
Okay. And then we are also in favor of the salary being, where did I write it? 55 for 0.5 super, 40,000 for 0.5 principal, bringing it up to 95,000.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Annie?
Yes, ma'am.
And we are also in agreement to get a 2.6 increase when he has his principal certification, and then again a 2.6 increase when done with his superintendent certification, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
Okay, so 92.6.
What percentage did you say? 2.6, that's correct.
So now I would like a finger raise for 2-year contract and a 3-year contract. So all in favor with offering a 3-year contract, or Annie, you can say aye. Okay, well that's me because we were 3. and then a 2-year contract.
I'm sure it's two. Hey, do you want a 2-year contract or a 3?
2-year.
2. So that would be 4. So with the 3 of us, are you guys comfortable with also offering him a 2-year contract?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Mr. Ramsey, our counter offer to you is a 2-year contract and a yes on the other 2 points.
Okay.
Okay, Miss Tammy, you have notes, and me, you, and Mr. Ramsey will get this all typed up and sent to Miss Keleva tomorrow.
That is correct, so we will need a motion.
Yep.
For the offer.
Okay. So can I get a motion to offer Mr. Ramsey a 2-year contract, a cap on 5, please explain that one. So
I think I can get it all out if you'd like.
Yes, please do.
I would make a motion that we offer Mr. Ramsey a new contract at 0.5 superintendent, 0.5 principal, compensation for superintendent at $55,000, annually compensation for principal at $40,000, annually bringing him to $95,000 total. This would be a 2-year contract. That we amend the provision for the payout of accrued vacation days to put a limit at 5 per year. And that we add incentive provisions, one for a 2.6% increase when he gets the official principal certificate, and one for a 2.6% increase for the superintendent certificate.
I second.
Miss
Can you
Ham,
second that?
and can I get a voice roll call vote, please?
Trustee Bass.
Aye.
Trustee Bosker.
Yes.
Trustee Byler.
Yes.
Trustee Manning.
Aye.
Trustee Mercer.
Aye.
Board Chair Miskowitz.
Aye.
And Vice Chair Oldenburg.
Aye.
Motion carries, all in favor.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.